Oh, hi everyone. Welcome to my Shoreline studio. I'm Sybil Muschik. Behind the camera is Joshua Blanc. I'm just enhancing a little sepia treated print I did on the gel plate, my 8x10 gel plate here. And I'm just using some pastel pencils and just adding a bit of tone here and there. And I'll take you through the entire process, including, creating a sepia color. And it's just a way to enhance a sepia treated. Well, you can do it with a photograph for sure. I think when you found photographs, say really old ones, age deteriorated them to the point where they became sort of discolored and sepia toned. And people often found them and then enhanced them with color. And so we're sort of replicating that process with gel plate printing today. We'll start off with showing you the basic photograph. This is a Farwell Canyon and the old cabin house, whatever it was, homestead right at the base of Farwell Canyon. And I guess the Gang Ranch still owns this property. They have a gate further up here, but once in a while they open it. And I think I've talked about this before, where we were allowed to go and picnic down around here. It was Thanksgiving Day, I think, and so the colors were fantastic. But they can be enhanced, so you can, on the computer, you can do all sorts of wonderful, crazy stuff with it. So here it's enhanced quite a bit, and the color of the water is actually not changed at all. It's a very beautiful turquoise, blue-green. Now, if it were springtime, like the first, when the leaves first open, it would look something like this. Or like this, even brighter. And here's sort of the original treatment of it. I've cropped it somewhat. And all these little poplars behind here and on the far shore. So the tricky part of this composition is that going back to this one here, that you're trying to find a way to look down on something. This is a perspective problem. So what you do then is you take your photograph and take a ruler and then do a couple of the angles to find out where your horizon line is. Probably way up here. Your horizon line is always your eye level, right? So somewhere in here, because you're looking down on this. So in order for a composition where it's actually down below you, but in the picture plane, it's actually going up. It's very contradictory. And that's what you're trying to get, where you're looking down and the cabin is therefore quite a bit smaller. And a nice way to do a treatment and startle people with an unusual compositional tool. All right, so I did the drawing. This is another one. This was a different drawing to begin with. And then I thought, well, I should make the cabin just a wee bit smaller, just to give that feeling of looking down on it even more. And then enhance some of the foliage in the background. Now we're probably, in order to transfer this to the gel plate, this is charcoal, and we probably need to, because this has been printed once already, I'm just going to enhance a few things. And notice these posts are getting smaller and smaller. They give you, again, a feeling of, going down the hill. And I'm just going to add a little bit more color And you can do this with the charcoal, is use the side of your charcoal pencil. You can just use regular charcoal, like charcoal sticks. This is sort of a nice way of working. This is a Derwent medium. You can buy a kit where they have several different, you know, thicknesses, and whether it's medium, dark, or, but enhance a few of these things, and the foliage at the bottom here, and then give it a nice shadow. And same here, a little bit of shadow helps. And here at the back of the building, a little bit of foliage in here. And just enhance a few of the lines here so that they will actually print on the gel plate. It is a log cabin, so you have those cross log things here at the end. You don't need to go to a lot of detail. Just give the impression. And then the doorway. There's no windows left in this building, they're all broken. So you can just walk right in. No, there were no doors either. We didn't open any doors, did we? So the doors are all gone too. So a little bit more foliage. I've enhanced this apple tree a little bit. It sort of gives the flavor of the place, that it was a place where people, you know, worked and lived, homesteaded. And here's the riverbank. Remember to keep this straight. And here's the river flowing in. And you can enhance some of these trees. That are behind. And I'm doing this all negatively. I'm putting the tone around the poplars rather than doing it on the poplars, and then the poplars will peek out. And here I'm just hatching behind the foliage. And I put a very pale tone over the background trees, just to push them back. Nice thing about charcoal, it does transfer beautifully. And you know, you can have your tree limbs here and there. Do some negative drawing here, where you're just putting tone around things again. And just to give a difference between one group of foliage and another is just to put a little tone behind there. I'm exaggerating because you do want this to transfer. The background would be a little bit grayer. And then all around, just a tiny, tiny bit, because the river should stay fairly light. Okay. Okay, I think we're good as far as the drawing is concerned. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the background, the sepia tone background. Just to show you the difference. The first one I did the transfer and put that on the paper, and then I put the tone on top. But it was kind of, you can see some of the white spots, and it wasn't quite as good as I wanted it to be. In this one, I did the background first, and then I transferred the drawing on top of the background. And you can see the difference in the, let's see the clarity. And it's much brighter and luminous, and really that's what we're after if we're doing a sepia tone. And of course, this is a very viable piece as is, as sepia. You don't have to enhance it with anything. This is a little painting I did quite a few years ago. It's about the right size of the painting. This is a watercolor. And I've enhanced the shadow areas, and then you really get the feeling of, you know, that depth going down. So then we have to mix our color. I don't have much left, so we're going to have to mix from scratch probably. I've put an awful lot of matte medium in with this. So we're going to start off, I didn't use burnt sienna on this, but we're going to start off with burnt sienna on this one. I'm using the Galleria, and this is medium body, so it's close to what Amsterdam is, but this burnt sienna has a very luminous tone, so we're going to mix these two. I'm going to just enhance it a little bit with some layer colors. Just a tad. And we're going to add quite a bit of matte medium. Just to show you a bit of color mixing, you usually start from the lightest color. In this case, we had a little bit left of the first color, so, and then mix in your darker colors bit by bit. Now that's looking pretty darn nice. Okay, and I think it will give us enough to cover the plate. I'm not over mixing either, because just have a variety of tone will actually create an interesting background. So I think we have a pretty good mixture here. Roll it out nice. And we want an almost transparent layer, which is the reason I've put in so much of the matte medium. Okay, rolling out. And we might have to do a couple of sheets just to see what works best, but hopefully one will do. So you want that beautiful luminous sepia tone. Now that might be a little bit on the skinny side, but we'll see. I'm using some Bienfang Bristol board as our paper. So it's quite heavy duty. It's not going to warp and wrinkle on us. You need to have a good paper for this, because we've mixed so much medium. It's almost like adding water, and you know, your copy paper will just wrinkle and warp. So you need a good one. And we'll have a look. Oh, we got a little fuzzle on there, but it's looking not too bad. Okay, there was some incidentals, but I don't mind that. It works pretty good. We'll try for another sheet. I'll just see. But you have to admit that's a pretty fabulous color. It's very hard to mix burnt sienna, you know, just say from red and a bit of green and yellows. You're not going to get that luminous quality that a good burnt sienna will offer you. So sometimes you do have to use the original color to get the right hue. Preparation is everything. I know some people just like to start from scratch and not think too much about it and just sort of throw stuff on the paper or, you know, canvas or whatever, and that works fine. But I think the best pieces come from planning and knowing what you're doing ahead of time. Then because of planning, you can be more creative and, you know, stages like where you're enhancing a photograph or a print. Let's see about this. Okay. Whoa, we have one little, let's put that back. Let's see if we can get that covered. Well, it was a nice piece. Okay. I think I'm not going to worry about it. We'll probably cover it up with other things. So, all right. So here's the two. I think if we use it as this corner, there's going to be dark trees there anyway. So which one do you like better? I think this one's more consistent. Let's just clean the plate. This is to make sure that the charcoal will take. Not much left on there. Okay, that's good. Now I would take this to the sink because this has got matte medium on it. You need to get that off immediately. So we're going to take a little break, interlude, and I'll clean this. We'll get rid of this out of harm's way because for sure I'm going to get an elbow into it or something. And we'll be right back. We're here in the beautiful Chilcotin area, and we're close to the Chilco River. This cabin is part of the gang ranch. It used to hold the cowboys. There's a bunch of buildings here, like bunkhouses. There's a root cellar and a hoo-hoo house just over there. It's a beautiful day. It's a bit on the chilly side. Sagebrushes are still blooming, and there's a few leaves left on the trees of the poplars. You can probably hear the river in the background. So we're going to be taking a lot of pictures to use during the winter time to do some printing and maybe some painting. So I'm ready to place our charcoal drawing on the gel plate. Now the nice thing about having a separate drawing is that, you know, other than putting it directly on the gel plate, is that it reverses twice, and so you get it back the way you want it to begin with. You don't have to worry about mirror imaging anything. So because now it's going to reverse, and then when you print it, it reverses again. I know this is clear as mud. But it does, and you get it looking the right way. I'm just going to use my Baron to make sure everything is transferring on the plate here. And you can pretty well see problem areas because like any place there's a bubble or a few bubbles, but I think it's transferring really nicely. And see that corner where we're going to be printing onto is very dark, so I'm not going to worry about that spot. And if all else fails, we crop. Okay, just making sure. All right, that should have transferred nicely. Yep. So both charcoal and graphite transfer really well. Especially for those of you who are having trouble doing transfers, you know, with the laser printers. You know, the laser printers are not what they used to be. All right, so now we're going to put some medium, matte medium, because that's the only way it'll transfer to this sheet. And then guess what? Yep, you got to clean your brayer again. Stuff is glue, you know, it will make a layer of glue on your, you know, on your little roller here. A nice even layer, just as if it was paint. You can, of course, use paint, but it sort of defeats the purpose of our having that nice tone. So that's why I use the matte medium. And fingers crossed, nothing will stick. Okay, we're using this one. And you can just line it up. Don't have anything to register. So now we're at the waiting game. And maybe we'll spend a few more minutes just enhancing that other photograph. So we'll put this aside. Bring back our pastels. And we'll have a look at our treatment. Right now, it's spring here. The greens are really lively and fresh. And we won't finish this. I might show it at the end. But, you know, it's just to show you what you can do with some of these things. If you're doing it, I mean, it doesn't have to be a sepia treatment, right? It could be any kind of, it could be blue. And then, you know, you're creating a story, you're creating a kind of atmosphere. You know, maybe this is a very nostalgic place for you, and it gives you lots of memories, and maybe they're sad memories, and maybe all your coloring is going to be blue. Or they're really happy memories, and then you want all the vivid, bright colors. You know, mood really enhances a piece of artwork. So we're going to just put some highlights on things, and you'll see how stuff becomes alive. And it's still, it can keep it as a drawing, so you can do the drawing marks, like cross hatching, hatching, that kind of thing. Don't forget your negative. I'm going to make maybe the lilac bushes behind there. You know, use your imagination. The whole point of artwork is to express your creativity. And there was quite a few little bunches of things in here. some deeper foliage. You know, give yourself lots of contrast. There were some browns in there, and just adding a bit of charcoal. And you have your little stump if you want to soften those features. You can give yourself some grass, give some up and down movement, sort of in ridges, the way grass grows. And if you notice, there's all sorts of variations. Here's where some more of your violets can come in. Violet's always a good thing to add to composition. It just enhances. This is a road, so you can have that color. Just keep it the light sepia tone and then do something. I think the center here is just where the foliage is growing. That can just be a violet again. And if you want to smudge things, but you're erasing at the same time, use a little kneaded eraser. That gives different looks again. So it takes it back a bit. Maybe a light brown color. Over the years, I've collected a few of these. These are Conte a Paris, most of them. Some of them are called Othello. Here's a nice color that would enhance a road. And you can brighten with white. And that's just the road in front there. And parts of the cabin you can see, although the light's coming from a different source here, we can enhance the front of the cabin just to give it some contrast. So it won't be doing this on here, right? We've got a big shadow happening there. So you can change things as you need to. So where the sun touches things, let's give it a more enhanced look. Tops of the grass. And again, either use your kneaded eraser to amalgamate things. And then bit by bit it comes together. This is a lot of fun. It's a little bit like doing a coloring book because you're just coloring in areas. So a couple more touches on here just to show you what's possible. Make this grasser a little bit taller than stuff down here, that can be almost flat. Because again, you're working with perspective. And I'll put a little bit in here. I'll put a little bit in the front of the cabin just to show where the light is. And take the road down a hair. And on and on. You can just, you know, add all sorts of nuances. And take your time. You know, this is a leisurely activity. This is one of those things that are just a joy to do. And we'll just, all our highlights on here will just be smudged a little bit. We haven't put much on the background, but keep it duller and bluer, basically, because that's the far distance. And that will make those trees around the cabin really stand out too. You can just hatch that in. There's enough detail in the drawing that it will pick up the nuances. And the background trees, you can just very pale. And see what I mean about, you know, you can use whatever colors you want. There are blue spruces, but they're probably not that blue. Again, we're just going to hatch those in there. And you can use a Kleenex, or Kleenex might be nice, and then just soften that back in there. We can brighten the bank a little bit. On and on. So, okay, let's have a look at our print. Should be ready. And there we go. That is beautiful and luminous, isn't it? I'm just going to crop. I'm not going to worry about the tone in here. I'll probably keep it as a sepia print. And then if you want to enhance anything where you've lost a little bit of detail, that's quite doable. Like this back of the tree here seems to have lost a little bit. So you can go back and then do another layer of the matte medium. And a little bit of this corner we lost. And just enhance the windows a little bit. And our base here. And I've sunk this cabin a little bit more. I'm just going to enhance the look of it a little bit. And you can take your stump to it and make it look more like the original print. Okay, so I don't know if we can fix this or not. Maybe. I guess we can. Okay, no problem. And then just, use your stump. I'd probably enhance more of the foliage at the back, but it's looking good. And anyway, try one of these sepia pieces. Find an old heritage place, do a nice drawing, and take it home, and then try doing the sepia treatment on it. And enhancing it if you wish with well, whatever media you like. I kind of lean towards my pastels because it's a good way of working. So thanks again for joining us. Have so much fun with this project. Take care and bye for now.